Hey guys, it's Joy. Hope you had an amazing weekend and got lots of rest or had lots of fun and watched a lot of football and basketball. It's getting to be the really, really fun part of the season where it gets down to the wire and teams are trying to make the playoffs or win MVPs. So we got a lot of really fun action this weekend. And we got to start with that Bills Lions game, which really was the game of the weekends. I mean, the best team in the NFC, arguably the best team in the AFC matching up. And what was it going to look like? It looked like the Bills dominated the Lions. Now, there are some reasons for it, but I think everyone is going to slightly overreact to this Bills win. Because here's the thing about the Bills, they do this. They do this. They do this. Now, I will say it's a little different for me this year for one reason, and that is Josh Allen is not turning the ball over. But that win was impressive. They looked great. They dominated a Lions team that many people picked to win, and many people are picking to go to the Super Bowl, and rightfully so. They took advantage of the deficiencies that the Lions had on the defensive side of the ball, and of course, Josh Allen has catapulted himself into the runaway favorite for MVP. Lamar Jackson had a great game yesterday, but against the Giants, not the opponent that you want to hang your hat on when it's talking about jumping Josh Allen or even Saquon Barkley in the MVP race. But he did jump Saquon, so now Josh Allen has the number one odds to win MVP, rightfully so. I think that game probably cemented it. I don't want to overreact, but they have the Jets, Patriots, Jets twice, and the Patriots, I think, to finish the season. Some combination of those terrible teams. For the Bills, Lamar Jackson is the second best odds, and then Saquon Barkley, which is probably correct about right now. However, however, they have allowed 90 points in their last two games. They are 22nd in yards allowed, 26th in third down defense, and they're tied for 19th in sacks. So while Josh Allen is having this incredible moments, which he absolutely deserves, Josh Allen has been one of the best players in the league for some time now. He's always favored at the beginning of the season to win the MVP, and then things go awry. People have been critical of him turning the ball over, rightfully so. I said at the beginning of the season, this was a year that Josh Allen was primed to win MVP for multiple reasons. One, everyone wrote the Bills off. Everyone said the Bills are cooked. It's over. Stephon Diggs isn't there anymore. Josh Allen isn't going to be able to get it done with this roster. The defense isn't going to be good enough. The offense isn't going to be good enough. They might be right about the defense, but certainly the offense is good enough. And Josh Allen has been the reason why they are winning games. And most importantly, as I said, he is not turning the ball over like he normally does. Normally, in a game like that yesterday, he would give the Lions multiple opportunities to get back in that game. And they may very well end up winning, which would then say, well, it doesn't matter if he turns the ball over. We do that for him all the time. And their seasons have not ended in a Super Bowl victory. We don't know what's going to happen this year yet. But Josh Allen had a tremendous game yesterday. Overall, they took down a really, really good Lions team, a vulnerable Lions team, but that doesn't matter. You play with who's on the field. When it comes to the postseason, though, they still have some things to prove. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I think Josh Allen will win the MVP, and he absolutely deserves it. We'll see what they look like in the postseason. Now, the Lions, on the other hand, the other half of this game, whew, okay. Listen, I don't think that the Lions are cursed. All right. I think that they have turned things around. They got to the NFC Championship game last year. They've been having a tremendous season. But at some point in any season, a good team is going to fall vulnerable to their injuries. Availability is just, it matters. And when you're down to like your third guy, I mean, at some point, the talent disparity is going to matter. So they lost more contributors on defense. They lost two corners and a defensive tackle. Obviously, Aiden Hutchinson was lost earlier this season, and that's tragic. And this morning, Adam Schefter reported that David Montgomery might be lost for the season with an MCL injury. And that game yesterday was the most points and yards allowed in a game since 2022. So it seems like it's kind of a rough spot for the Lions right now, who have had an amazing season and not bounce back, but maintaining off of the level of season that they had last year, going to the NFC Championship game. I just don't know. I don't know if they're going to be able to overcome this many injuries. And look, injuries are the most boring thing to talk about when you're talking about reasons why teams don't win, because every team has injuries. Some teams have more injuries than others. Some teams have injuries to more crucial positions than others do. But it's kind of hard to imagine that with this many injuries, they're going to be able to maintain the level of play that they've been showing week in and week out this year. And I think yesterday was a really good example of how quickly things can go sideways. Now, look, Dan Campbell's getting cooked for that onside kick call, and probably should. And that's always been my issue with Dan Campbell is I think that it's fun to be aggressive. I think that when it works, you look like a genius. But when you take those big risks, there's also a chance that it doesn't work out. And then you put yourself so far behind that there's no chance you're ever getting back in it. And that was one of those moments. So big risk, big reward, but at a big risk nonetheless. And when it's against a good team like the Bills, who are able to take advantage of your mistakes, they put you away. And I, I just think that you can have aggressive in you and still make the right strategic move. That is the type of balance that I prefer in a coach. I don't want a coach that never goes for it. I don't want a coach that always only relies on analytics. Like I want you to have some balls and be willing to make a call that will swing the momentum of a game. But it doesn't have to be every time. Like there are times where you have to make a calculated decision and ride the vibes of the game. And his whole thing is, I've already decided what this game is going to be before I play it. And you just don't know how something's going to go. So I don't know. The next couple weeks are going to be very interesting for the Lions with all these injuries. I don't know how much confidence I have that they're going to be able to overcome what they've been losing as of late. And defense was always the question with the Lions. And when you have injuries compounding on the defensive side of the ball, it's just worrisome. So my Steelers lost in the Battle of Pennsylvania yesterday to the Eagles, 27-13. It was a very lackluster performance by the offense. Very disappointing from the Pittsburgh side of the ball, but I think we will recover and be fine. Have clinched a playoff spot either way. Obviously, the Ravens are now trying to come and sneak and win the division, but we'll see how the next couple weeks go. But the Eagles were the side of the ball that everyone was paying attention to, and rightfully so, because they've had a couple weeks of really high-level drama. And the thing about the Eagles is they are that person that creates drama, stirs it all up, tells all the stories, does all the complaining. And then when people start talking about it and react to it, everyone's a gossip, everyone's a hater. Why are you talking about us? Why is the media talking about us? You have no one to blame but yourselves. You have no one to blame but yourselves. You know how I know? Because I do a daily show. And you know what we weren't talking about? The Philadelphia passing game. What we were talking about was the Philadelphia run game. What we were talking about is how Jalen Hurts has looked and how they've been winning consistently. We were not talking about the passing game until A.J. Brown complained about it. You know how I know that? Because I'm there every single day. I remember. So the Eagles have this thing where they create drama, and then when the media talks about it, they're like, "Why are you talking about us?" Like, I don't know, probably because you were complaining about not getting the ball after a win. Remember? That's what happened. So they got it together. Most points scored since week 12, 270 passing yards is the second most this season. A.J. Brown had 11 targets and 8 receptions, the season high, and he had a touchdown reception that for just the second time in games. It's really funny to me how the Eagles create this drama. They have so much drama for a team that wins, and they create drama and then get mad that everyone's talking about it. Jalen Hurts comes out in the press conference afterwards. Is that what you wanted to see? I didn't need to see anything. I personally did not need to see anything. I was cool with you winning with Saquon Barkley. AJ Brown was the one who wasn't. So really you should be asking AJ if that's what he wanted to see. They do have the 5th worst passing attack in football. AJ's on pace for his worst season as a starter, and Jalen Hurts is on pace for a career low in yards per game. So I wasn't asking for it, and as far as I could hear and tell, no one outside of Philadelphia was asking for that. So yeah, Philly's just an interesting team. They look like the best team in the NFC, especially coming off of that win against the Steelers, who are a really good team, and the way that the Lions looked yesterday. They're in a great position right now, other than what we've seen consistently from the passing game this year. But this whole the media your teammate literally said you guys weren't getting along. Your teammates said that. We didn't say that. It wasn't a report. It wasn't an anonymous source. It was your actual teammate, Brandon Graham, saying that you were having problems. I'm confused. What part did the media make up? AJ Brown complained. Brandon Graham confirmed it. I'm not somebody who defends the media at all. Like we're a bunch of nerds. We talk about what other people do for a living. But this wasn't a source. This wasn't a report. It literally came from you, the Eagles, the actual players, out loud. Like you said it. You were the ones complaining. I don't understand. What did we want to see? You guys are the ones who wanted to see it. I don't get it. I can't get involved. I don't understand what the issue is. All right. So I don't get why everyone is tripping about the Heisman. What have I missed? What have I missed here? Travis Hunter deserved to win the Heisman. He won every other award. He won the AP Player of the Year, the Walter Camp Award, the Chuck Benderick Award, the Biletnikoff. Why wouldn't he also win the Heisman? It's acting like like Ashton Gentry got robbed. It was the closest vote since 2009. But what are we talking about? He did not get robbed. Travis Hunter absolutely deserved to win the Heisman. If there was some sort of gap here that was so astronomical that it was offensive, like what are we talking about? He had 80% of the possible points. It's the 11th highest in Heisman history. Quarterbacks don't need to win every single year. They don't. They do not need to do that. Travis Hunter absolutely deserved to win the Heisman. Of course, Gentry thought he should win. He had a Heisman level year. That's why he was there. But what is everyone tripping about? Did anyone watch Travis Hunter this year? Again, he won every award there is to win. He's the best player in college football. He plays two sides of the ball. The awards do not always have to go to quarterbacks. I'm sorry, guys. Travis Hunter was the Heisman. I had no question in my mind he was going to win the Heisman. And you know why? Because he won the Heisman. And even though it was close, the closest since 2009, he still deserved to win. This is whole nonsense. Like he robbed Gentry. Okay. I don't know. Not the games that I watched. Every award doesn't have to go to a quarterback. How about we give it to a guy who is excellent on both sides of the ball this year? Is that okay with everyone? I don't get it. I'm not. I don't see the issue. All right, so for my Dolphins fans, I don't know. I've reached this real interesting place with the Miami Dolphins at this point in my life. I've been watching the Miami Dolphins for most of my life, and I'm so over it. I'm so over it. They lose to the Texans 20-12. This was a game you absolutely needed to even have a chance at making the playoffs. The Colts lose, the Chargers lose yesterday, and of course you do yourself a favor of also losing. Tua has 4 giveaways for the first time in his career and tied for second most if any player has had this season. They had 224 total yards, which is the second fewest in a game this season. Tyreek had 2 catches for 36 yards. I mean, go win a big game. I'm so tired of this misery. They're going to miss the postseason for the 6th time in 8 seasons and for the 19th time in 23 seasons. So it'll be 40 years now since their last Super Bowl appearance. The 16th straight season. 16th straight season of not winning the AFC East. He had a 3-game lead last year. What'd you do? Trick it off. So I don't know. I can't get excited about the future of the Dolphins anymore. It's just so frustrating. Every year I feel like I am led astray. I am bamboozled, and it's annoying. Go win a big game. Stop pitching me on all the pizzazz and just go win a big game that you need. There was a significant chance you weren't going to make the playoffs anyway, but at least make the push and convince me that the only reason why was because Tua was out, which is a big problem for me. As I've said many times, the fact that they didn't have a backup quarterback when Tua was out, I think is malpractice when Tua is your quarterback and he misses time. But this is misery. absolute misery, and I'm just over it. This was a winnable game. Don't turn the ball over 4 times. No shot in hell the Dolphins are good enough to overcome a 4 giveaway game. It's just I don't know. I'm just defeated. I'm defeated by the Dolphins and their misery and their inability uh to change the narrative. I mean, it's been decades and it's enough already. I don't know what they're going to do this offseason. I almost would really like them to focus on building the team in a completely different direction because, as I said last week, having a strong run game and a dominant defense is the only way that the Dolphins are ever going to win in the postseason because they can't play. The offense cannot perform if it's colder than 47 degrees. So you need to have something that travels. But at this point, like, I don't know what my expectations are supposed to ever be for the Dolphins. The Bills look like the most dominant team in football. They've won the division in the last 5 years in a row. Josh Allen's going to win the MVP. Like the Dolphins are not on the Bills level. And, the Patriots are not a good team. They're developing though. So I don't know what they're going to be next year. Obviously the Jets are always terrible, but you're not going to win the division. So your best bet is to be a wild card team. And you can't even put yourself in the position to do that. So I don't know. It's just frustrating. Anyways, hope you guys had a great weekend. Make sure that you subscribe and like and share and comment. Later on this week, we will get to your comments and respond to some of your thoughts. So make sure that you leave that in the comments. Let me know why I'm wrong about the Heisman, because I'm sure that that's what everyone is going to be complaining about. And I'll catch you guys later this week.